Hello. I'm Dan Lutz, and welcome to the latest broadcast of Dan plus Tank equals Dank Live, or just Dank Live. One day I'll stop putting the Dan plus Tank, but probably good to keep it going for a little bit. Welcome. It's another wonderful day. And this is the beginning of May 1st. So we're having a lot of interesting things happening. A couple more days until Fiji goes on strike, and they're going to be making the changes in Fiji that are going to be happening across the world, where they're going to accept sovereignty from Kim and the Manna World Holding Trust, and have the funds fund their bank from the trust, their central bank. So it's going to be a very interesting to watch how this unfolds. So can't wait to go to Fiji and participate in that. And there's Venezuela is now in the transition phase. The way that I see that things happening with this fight, this war against the deep state, is there certain battlefronts. One of the battlefronts is against communism and socialism. Without a doubt, this is on the agenda to wipe it out, to replace it with what you call republics, democracies, other forms of representative government. But if you trace the roots back to communism and socialism, they are satanic. It's not something that's just something that's being said, saying, oh, that's evil. No. You research and you look and you will see they are saying so. The founders of this philosophy, Marx, Lenin, this actually goes back to Freemasonry as part of their plans. As for us, again, it's this upper level Illuminati level. But this is part of their plan. They are worshiping Satan, and this is the religion of I'm sorry, this is the government of Satan. This is how it functions. Please look at Edge of Wonder, that YouTube channel. Look up Edge of Wonder. They did a 4 or 5 part series on communism and its foundation. They call it the religion of the deep state. It is true. So if we're going to be replacing or draining the swamp on a very basic level, very, very easy concept, draining the swamp, getting rid of that government that is reaching in and removing the rights from people, it's more than that. It's more than that, because it's really going after all of these different factions of or fronts in the war that are coming after us as a whole. In order to create a global new world order in which there is only one ruler, only one government, only one form of money, this ultimate power would then be in the hands of a satanic religion. What do you think that's going to look like? It's not going to be good for anybody, even the people that are in it. striving to get to the top of that by backstabbing everyone and killing your way up the top and everything. So this is one of the major fronts. So when I first saw that Trump was now taking Venezuela and recognizing that this is one of those deep state functions, right? Well, Venezuela has been a big problem, and that's where socialism had taken root. It was a fabulously wealthy place, and the people were doing well until they said, "Oh, free healthcare, free this, free that, socialism." They bring it in now; they can't even feed themselves. It's the promise, right, but doesn't deliver of a fair place. Right, this is the concept of it. But Trump is taking on Venezuela, Cuba, and even China. I would say that part of this is really an end game is to really replace communism everywhere in the world. It doesn't work. Right, so it only works to eliminate the rights of everybody on the planet. No human rights. So now Tank, I had sent him. I talked with him earlier, and he had sent me a link for something that he wanted to go over. And by coincidence, synchronicity, there was I just saw this video by David Jan at Operation Freedom, and I'm gonna play this for you. But first, I'm gonna play what Tank sent. Right, and Tank is involved in a social engagement with some, and so as soon as he can break away, he'll join us. But we'll go ahead and we'll start with this. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So this is from April 28th, so only just a couple of days ago. MSNBC, Chiron Mosquitoes Conway. Conway is saying Trump is condemned Nazi. So basically, it's a hit piece, and it's not too long. It's only a minute and a half, and we're going to go ahead and play it.
By allowing Kellyanne Conway to go on air and continue to spin lies like this, I just don't think it's helpful to anyone. I don't think it's helpful to people who feel really hurt right now and feel under attack in this country. She is a propagandist for the administration. She's going to say whatever it takes to protect her boss. There are many other people to talk to who are experts on this subject who can tell you about how the president has emboldened white nationalists and white supremacists in this country.
I'm just so confused about why we keep talking to these people, right? Like, I don't understand why the press goes to the press briefings. But when they do.
So you hear they're laughing about why are we even participating with the White House? I would say that's quite arrogant of them.
Like, they show up and they listen to Sarah, they listen to Sanders, like, stand there and lie, right? You are doing a disservice to the people of the United States by continuing to have them on and then just not ask the right questions. We're not asking, like, oh, maybe the president is a white nationalist, maybe he's a racist. No, the president of the United States is a white nationalist. He is a racist. Everything that comes out of his mouth is either xenophobic, homophobic, transphobic, or racist, right?
The only place I ever hear this, it's never coming from Trump. There's context in which he's taken out of context and it says certain things, and then they want to blow that up into meaning something. But to say, like, for example, he's a racist, and then you can look at all the photos of in the past where you have like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton all hanging out with Trump. None of them thought he was a racist back then.
Right? Like there's no mixing of that. So why do we keep pretending that there's a conversation to be had? There isn't, right? Like why did Joe Biden come out with that video? Because he needed to remind the American people how racist the president of the United States is.
We should add that my friend Jake Tapper is wrong on the facts. That comment was not beneath Kellyanne. No comment is beneath Kellyanne Conway, and so why?
I just remarked the speed with which she moved on from it to talk about Joe Biden, whatever. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah,
that was it. There is no comment.
There's no below. There's no bar. We've lost the bar. But I mean, I think this speaks to the fact that it's incredibly hard to manage the fact when you have a deeply corrupt administration at every level.
A deeply corrupt administration. When we talk about a mirror, right? We're talking about a true mirror with them being corrupt. The media is corrupt. We'll just play this out. It's still got a minute.
And it's rewriting history as well. It's disdain, it's mistreatment of history, right? As well. And you have the president there saying, "Oh, this was about a statue. This was about Robert E. Lee." And now we have this bubbling conversation among the alt-right about how that's really what was at issue here, was an attack on history and on a statue. Yeah. Well, true propagandists have this, have this certain kind of intelligence that says it doesn't matter what the facts are. I'll just keep saying this.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter what the facts are. They'll keep saying this. So they're, again, it's all projection, all a mirror. What they're doing, right? They put on their opposition to say that's what they're doing.
Right, and the hope that a sort of vaguely disengaged population will periodically hear kind of the din of politics.
So again, the same reason. Those that are not so engaged in the conversation and understanding what's going on, they're kind of lackadaisical about listening to the news because it's all the same tone, always the same pitch. So people get burnt out on listening to it. They half listen.
And sort of take that in. And so I think they understand that structurally, for people who aren't paying a lot of attention, this is a chance to move the ball forward a little bit on these issues because a lot of folks were only vaguely involved. That's been the Barr report. Having Barr come out and do that was just an opportunity to kind of muddy the waters. And I think really trying to play on.
Only waters it muddied was the ideas that these people have been preaching for 2 years, 2.5 years, this same stuff. Over Mueller report, Russian collusion. So they are the ones that now have been muddied, and this is why they've lost so much of their viewership. They've dropped down to below the Food Channel and everything else. I think CNN lost 50% of its audience. MSNBC lost 38%.
On civic confusion and citizenship disengagement is like a tactic. It's a tactic of wanting and assuming a disengaged public and then playing on it.
Dan, lastly to you, I mean, what is it about Kellyanne Conway? There's this sort of sick pseudo-Shakespeare about her relationship with her husband and what he has to say versus what she
I want to get through one dinner party where we don't have to talk about the marriage. But
so they're talking about, just think about it. They're talking about their dinner parties, right? And how they get around and talk, and they want to get through one of their dinner parties without going into Kellyanne Conway and what's going on with her husband. It's their own bubble. They're in a Washington bubble, which they are talking amongst themselves, and they're basically all thinking they're on the right side, right? They genuinely believe that they're all saying the right things, right? For their perspective. And even if they know things that are not true or other things, that they're going to support the side that they're on, right? No matter what, because they're in this bubble.
Well, he brings up a good point here. Why is she listened to? And as you look at this new Washington, where in the past you would turn to somebody in her position or somebody within the White House for comment on these matters, how do we move beyond that protocol or that?
Because we're still going through the motions, the old conventions. It's a Sunday morning show. You have the official on.
Yeah.
None of these things works anymore, and we've learned, not to carry the president live because we're broadcasting what he's essentially lying to. Fact check.
So they said everything Trump is saying is lying. So they can't get past, that they're not the go-to anymore. They are no longer the media, right? They're just going on and on and on about what they think they need to say, right? But they've lost power. It's not the same media anymore. They recognize that they're on the way out.
tracking him in real time. But this is another problem. She's just going to get on there and say the same falsehood again and again. What do you do? I think the answer is you stop the interview.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
They stop the interviews. They're not being asked to do the interviews. So that was that. So, Tank, I see that you're on. So that I did find the video you sent me, and
Thank you.
And the coincidentally, right? Wink, wink. The synchronicity of it is I would just watch David Jan in Operation Freedom on a latest video that he had posted, today, that said, really about Donald Trump and who he is, compared to what you were just pointing out, all that venom, that vile words that they're spewing about Trump is all a falsehood, right? And they're all giggling and buddy and all bringing it. Hey, join our club. We're the cool kids on the campus, right? We're sitting around the cafeteria table. We're all talking about someone else and calling them all sorts of names. Come and join us, right? That's all I get out of them, right? And they've lost power. He didn't go to their once a year press dinner, right? He avoided that. He went to a rally and had tens of thousands of people show up for him. Why would he want to go and meet with these people?
It's a nonstop fraudulent negotiation of nonsense. I watched that video and it gave me a migraine. And I mean, I get migraines like, once every in a blue moon, right? I probably haven't had one in 4 months, right? But it gave me such a migraine headache today because the energy from that was so negative. And I'm still dealing with it, just trying to, focus. But I all I can think is like, I need to dissect that, right? Because there's certain things about that specific presentation that are so disgusting. First of all, they don't mention a single fact. They don't say anything that's fact. They don't say a single reason why. They literally tell you what, good propagandists do, and then they demonstrate it, right? They demonstrate exactly that, like, lies. And if they say it, now the president comes out and tells, people anything, and they're immediately like, well, I know everything he says is a lie, right? It is so beyond disgusting. I hardly know what to do with it.
I know it's so counter to what I have queued up right here. So David Jan, he has his Operation Freedom. He has a radio show and his YouTube channel. Please go ahead and subscribe to him. He has this photographer, but he's a photographer that was joined Trump's campaign and is their official photojournalist. And he is there with them at the White House. He's part of the staff. He's there. He is the fly on the wall, as he puts it. All right. And if you want to, and he actually lays it out and says who Donald Trump is. So we'll go ahead and play this, and he also just published a new book, and it's Dave Gent was ranting about it, called Trumpology. So that would also be a good book to look at. Here, just let's listen.
Gene, you have an incredible track record of being a photojournalist well before Donald J. Trump came into your life and you came into his life. You have been a photojournalist for a number of celebrities across the board.
Yes. I mean, this is a 30-year career, actually. 30-year career that I did.
So my question, Gene, is your first impression when you met Donald Trump and how it compared or contrasted with all those other celebrities that you had an opportunity to photograph and to get involved with?
Well, here's the thing: when it comes to celebrities, it's always because I've had people that I've really admired over the years. When I was a child, I had some posters in my room, and you see these people that you admire so much, and then later on in my career, I met some of these, took their photos. It was always disappointing because sometimes you'll find someone that you just really admire, and then you meet them in real life, and you're like, this guy's a total jerk. And so I thought, I'll be honest, I thought the same thing of Donald Trump at first, because I always admired him. Grew up in New York and knew a lot about him, bought all his clothes, but I really thought, I bet you anything, when I meet him in real life, he's going to be an absolute jerk. And I honestly felt that. But I am telling you that when it comes to Donald Trump, anyone who knows him personally, I've met him, will say that he is a wonderful, wonderful person, treats everyone around him with dignity, and is exact opposite of what the mainstream media has portrayed him as. But I can tell you, because I've known him and I've watched him for over 2 years, he's a really, really nice guy, treats people around him really nicely.
Gene, have you noticed a difference in him, in his demeanor, and how he treats you and those around him that you observe? Because, as a photojournalist, you're taking pictures, you're documenting the individual, but you also get a really bird's eye view of the landscape around that person, how that person treats his coworkers, the people working for him, how the quote fan base. Have you noticed a difference between when you first met Donald Trump at the beginning of the campaign trail versus President Trump 2.5 years later?
Well, here's the thing. I've not only photographed Trump during the campaign for 2 years, but I also photographed President Trump after he already became president. I can tell you he has not changed. And here's the difference of what I know and what other people don't know. I had a chance, if I wanted to, quite frankly, to lie and say to people, hey, I saw Donald Trump personally for 2 years, and I know what he's really like. And if I wanted to lie, I cannot even imagine what my book would go off of the market as an advance, because some people are writing very bad things about Trump, and they're getting $1 billion advances. Could you imagine if I said, hey, I'm going to write this book and I'm going to tell some lies about what I saw or whatever? Could you imagine how much I could peddle that book for? But instead, I have no reason to lie. I was there behind the scenes. I see how he interacted with people. And Trump treats everyone around him with dignity.
Bar none.
No, but more than bar none. He would go into a room and he would not search out the celebrities in the room. I was backstage. He would search out the first responders, police officers, the men in uniform. He would actually seek them out, shake their hands, and have conversations with them before he even shook hands with anyone backstage, with a senator or a celebrity. He would always go to the first responders in the room.
So just you see someone that's actually knows Trump, is participating in the White House and sees everything through a lens, right? Is focused in on those moments, to catch Trump, in these moments, and what he says about Trump compared to that vileness that came out of MSNBC. You can see that one is a hit piece and the one is genuine. It's not. It's very easy to tell what's really going on here. We'll play a little bit more of this, but I just wanted to point this out. What that difference is. But there's a good point going to be made here.
Now, Gene, you have Chinese American heritage.
Correct.
A minority.
Correct.
Donald Trump has been characterized, vilified, as being an incredible racist, bigot, homophobe. I think actually Jack the Ripper had better, right? Had better to be said about him. Have you ever, and obviously as being a Chinese American and minority, you are sensitive to when you come in contact with an individual who has, I would think, the least bit of racism. Have you ever witnessed Donald Trump being a racist, a bigot, a homophobe?
100% no. the media is making a false narrative. And that is the difference between me and someone else. I was there behind the scenes as a minority. People that have grown up with racism, which I have, much prejudice growing up. I am a Chinese-born American, so I'm here. I am a citizen, but I am very, very sensitive to people that are racist. I am sensitive to my son, who is mixed race, and I've seen Trump behind the scenes. I've seen how he interacted with other people, but I also seen how he interacted with my son personally. And I'm going to tell you that when he met my son, he looked at my son and he doted on him like he would his own grandson. And he looked at my son and he didn't need to fake anything because I'm a worker. It's not like I'm a constituent that he has to fake it. This is behind the scenes, backstage. And so I can tell you that Trump is not a racist at all. There are a lot of people like me, minorities. Don Lutz is one of them. Candace Owens is another that have personally met Trump and can tell you that he's not a racist. He just.
All right. So anyway, it's a very good interview. I encourage you to go ahead to Operation Freedom and look up David Jant, and you will find so many good things from David Jant. David Jant is an orthopedic surgeon. Worked in the Reagan White House on healthcare. He's well respected in Washington. But he's been pushing, out a lot of good content. I really encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to his channel as well. So, but anyway, we can see this is what the difference is, right? One is completely, false and fake, and the other is genuine. So we know that when you hear this guy, it's genuine. When we hear the vile coming out of those other newscasters, those talking heads, that it's not real.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead. Thanks. Sorry.
No, it's I'll tell you what. I want us to go over this again. I want this recorded on, when we're doing our simulcast. I'm about to launch the blog talk right now. But I want to go over that again and talk about this some more, because I think it's very, very telling that the only thing they have left is the lying narrative that they continue to just, that they're increasing it. They've gone beyond. They don't even need to try to create fake events anymore. Now they just say stuff. And that little piece that you played at the beginning, they are telling you exactly what they do, right? I mean, they're outright sitting around like they're the head of the cabal, because that's exactly how Kim has described them to me 1,000 times. They sit around and laugh at us, right? Yeah. As they describe the plan they're using against us. Because this is not just an attack on President Trump. This is an attack on every single person on the planet. They're saying, screw you. We're going to say the same things. We are propagandists. We're just going to keep saying it, and we're going to act like it's real. And you can tell when you see that the first guy who spoke, who's Indian, he said something, and you can tell he was the only one who was mildly uncomfortable, and he hardly said another word the whole rest of the time.
Right.
Everybody else at that table was just a bunch of actors who were acting out their part. They'd already gotten into their character, right? This self-righteous group of journalists.
It's really just a show.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to load that up now, and I'll see you in like 10 minutes.
Okay. So, well, I guess what we'll do here, while we're waiting for him to launch the simulcast for Blog Talk Radio. I just want to say I've seen over the years two sides, right? I tend to watch Fox. I'd watch the others, and I said, oh, well, this side feels more better than that side, and yes, I could say that there are commentators that I would be able to pick out and say, well, I believe him more than the other, right? The other side's like. But to come to the realization by taking the red pill, that says that, you know, when you wake up to say that, like Trump was saying this, I'm sure, not Trump saying, that Tank was saying that one guy was feeling uncomfortable on that show. Everyone else was just reading their script. They were playing their part. They were getting to their character. They have to say these things. It's a complete puppet show. All of it. Yes, even Fox. They that is the controlled opposition. But there, like certain people on there would do such a good job that that you know that they had it became a problem. So like Glenn Beck, he had to leave, right? Because you know he was doing too good of a job pointing out like who Soros is, right? What is the plan? What is happening, right? That they're taking away the country. He was pointing it out. The other people on the news, they weren't pointing out that there was a takeover of the entire government. Yes, Hannity, has a lot of integrity, and you can hear what he's saying, but he only went to a certain point, right? Every time I've always found it interesting. He was calling the 9/11 truthers, right? He was calling them out and saying, "No, those are truthers," right? You know, an interesting name, truthers. Was Hannity actually saying something back then when he was calling them truthers? Was he was treating them in a way that said, "Well, you can't believe them, that they're off base." But at least he was getting the information out there, right? So they've even there was talking to get rid of Hannity too. But what would happen to the channel? There would be nothing left of them if they got rid of all their people, right? That was the controlled opposition. These were the people they needed to absorb that side. Otherwise, it would naturally evolve someplace else. And at least if they controlled it, they could say exactly how far they would go. So this is the one of the red pills that people have to accept, is that everything that's coming across the television is controlled. There's 6 media companies in the world. All of them are interrelated. They're owned by big conglomerates. They all have an agenda to basically create a global new world order. So it's us out here that are doing this alternative media that's getting the information out, that we're having better success than these others. We're having bigger viewership. So, okay, let me go ahead. Let me go and see if Tank sent me the link yet. Okay. There we go. Let's see if I'll be able to get on the standard way here or not. No, it's not happening. Same as before. Anyway, for whatever reason, the links that he's sending me are not to the broadcast, but I don't know why. Well, let me go ahead and I'll just log in. And see, because I know there's about 5 minutes of radio play as well going on. All right. Okay. Yeah, direct connect, it disconnects. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and see if I can work it the other way like I did before. This is a very it's a little complicated, so pardon me while I get this set up. Yeah. So we have a tremendous opportunity, right? To literally go on this. I got to get the number. It didn't say. I thought it would save the number for me. So. Let's see. Okay. Phone call. Well, I'm trying, but it's not quite working. Do it again. Well, I guess they really don't want us to be on at the same time. It's not going to work the same way around. So it's be a little difficult. I guess what I'll do. Let me go ahead. I'll try a different. No, not going to work that way. Well, I guess the next time, if we're going to have a problem, I got to see. Right. It says that I'm online. Let's see now. Hello? Hello? Yeah, not working. So I'm just going directly to the channel, and having it play.
So, long story short, we're in a.
Well, long story short, it's not.
Fight in a battle to restore and revitalize humanity around the world.
So I'm just going directly to the channel. Oh, are you hearing me?
Well, Dan, I can hear you. Long story short, we're
interesting. So, yeah, I'm not hearing you though. That's the thing. I know you. I know. So you just turned me off. That I'm the 408 number there. So I don't know if you're still able to hear me, but I can't hear you. So I've made the connection, just as I did last time. I had to do the workaround, and the workaround first wouldn't let me dial direct. I would it another way, and now it doesn't let me hear. So I'm just talking. I can't hear you though. So anyway, I guess the best thing is I could just go ahead and I could call in on another on my phone and see if that works. So let me try that. So I hope that's okay. I'll end this call. Okay, I ended that. Actually, let's see.
Ken?
Hello. Is it okay to call you on speakerphone, or is it not going to work on your side?
It won't work on that. They can't hear you.
Okay.
It's just dead air.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't. Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Try to call back in through Google, because I can hear you. You're there.
Yeah, but I can't hear you. But I'll try.
Yeah. Try it. All right. Turn my mic up. Maybe that could be it.
Well, I'm back on, but I still don't hear anything. Yeah. Nothing. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and stop at this point, because it's not good. It doesn't look like we'll be able to do this. They definitely don't want this to continue. So we will go ahead and stop. Okay. Well, okay, back to the other things here. So what I was going to do is I'm going to go ahead and send the link off to Tui. He's welcome to come on. We'll go ahead and see if we can get others. We'll go through the questions and things like that, and we'll see how we can lay out things and go after it. Now, I think there's definitely some very interesting topics that we're touching on all around, but in this particular one, we are having to deal with in a daily basis, is seeing how that the media is presenting this story and keeps hitting it. the good thing is the people that are leaving them need to be informed. They need to get up to speed. You can help them by spreading the links, asking others to do the same. When you say, please, we're trying to get the real information out to you. Please help us spread this link. So that's how things can change. So I'm going to go ahead and look in on our chat room here, and we'll go and see if there's anyone that would like to join. I'll add the link there as well. It'll be kind of leave this an open to what's going on, and we will. I guess what I can do is I can also give you the update that I got from Tank, right? And you know, basically the we're still they're doing the clearing out of the people on the low level, and that's basically all the information that Tank said is what's going on right now. So they're getting the low level people out of this that are in this purge. So again, we're focused on getting these things done in the world. So it's just going to take some time. Someone's saying, can I talk with someone on your phone? I've already tried that. That was the last thing I did. And the problem is that, Tank is using his phone, and it's always an issue. There should be no reason I shouldn't be able to connect by way of the direct connect by the internet, except it's not showing up. This is something that's in their system. The link he's giving is not, and I pressed the link software myself, the link connection myself in the back office, right? And I got the link for the show that he's on right then, and go to it. It's not the show, or at least it doesn't show up as that. So maybe it's just on my side, or maybe it's but I should be able to put in the name, and the pink button shows up. You click it, and it puts me on as a co-host, but not working. So that's why I was doing the roundabout call-in, right, to try and make that work, and it didn't work. Anyway, the link is there if anyone else would like to join in. I mean, I could possibly try and do another workaround, right, using two devices, right, and call in on the separate device that way, and as a possibility. We'll give it a shot. We'll you never know. That'll work. Putting my name in. No button. So you take a look. I put my name, and the big pink button appears here. Doesn't work. And this is right off of the link he sent, and it's the same. And it's the correct link. So not much we can do from that. So anyway, Tui has the link. You guys have the link. You're welcome to join. So let me talk about a couple other issues. There's so much that goes on after we get off of these broadcasts. Tank and I are both going. People are contacting us and sending us information. They're trying to get set up, and they want to do this, and they want to present that. And there's a lot. Even the GCR related things. And I want to refer to one of the people I've been in communication with in Russia. And they were basing a lot of the things that they were going to do on these historical bonds. And the particular ones are called Morgenthau's. The Morgenthau bonds issued, all the way back into, I think, the 30s and so on. Are they legitimate pieces of paper? Yes. But all of these assets were registered to the trust. And what am I talking about the assets? So whenever you have anything registered, it goes on this list of ownership under someone else, under, in this case, the monarchy of the planet, right? The unknown country, the Great White Throne, as Tui likes to call it. And all of this was completed by 2008. So after that, they had all this paper floating in the world. I'll tell you some of the stories that I heard about and why there was a lot of caution whenever you were dealing with these bonds, because they had serial numbers. And with the serial numbers, you would be able to verify. There would be a kind of an inventory, right? And that inventory would have separate numbers that would associate with the serial numbers that were on the actual bonds. You had to have both. And there was a way to call and confirm this with the Fed, right? You'd be able to say, hey, these are the numbers, and can you confirm if these are legitimate or not? And you can confirm that they're legitimate. But the problem is that these assets were already taken in to trade. And you may have heard how all this works, but in the financial system that we have, right, in the world, it was designed to provide abundance. It really was designed that way. To at least to the level that the countries around there understood, oh, I'm going to do this because this makes sense. There was another part of the plan that they didn't know about, right? Part of this structure was literally to literally transfer all assets into the one trust. They all were getting money for these assets. Paper. So this money that they would sign their asset and receive an allocation of cash. Here's the money. Okay, now they're very happy, right? They've got the money. They go off and do things. What did they give? They gave an asset. So the money gets spent and used and moves around and all that, and they build something with it, and they create even more assets. Great. What do they do? Come and register it over. For what? More cash. And they keep doing that, keep doing that, and keep doing that, and keep doing that. And then all of the asset is now owned by the unknown country. But they had all the cash. So all of these bonds out there was what? They're an IOU. Give us your asset. Here's the pretty paper. And plus we'll pay you interest in gold. First, they never gave back the asset. Never gave back the gold. They had them register to go to trade. With what? The pretty paper. Do you think there's any of this pretty paper that was hanging out for the last 80 years that wasn't put on to trade? Of course it was. And it was then not owned by them anymore. They thought they still owned it. But it's the con. It's the con of the whole thing. And I actually think this is why my friend was ended up dead, Ralph, because he actually told me when I first started talking about these historical bonds, that one of the first things he said to me, he said, all that's already been redeemed. And he was the one that was part of moving the stuff around to get it to redeem it. And also why he got into trouble with them and was punished. And he was told, stay out of it. Why was he told to stay out of it? Because he knew. And if they're taking all this pretty paper around the world and saying, oh, yes, you got that pretty paper. Yeah, you're going to get really rich. Oh, you've got this pretty paper. Those are currencies. Oh, you're going to get 100 trillion. this was all done to get people on this road of the GCR. The people that know about the GCR and have been following it, were involved with it in any way, even if they bought some currencies, have been waiting to become rich. And when they got rich, they had all these plans. They're going to do all of this wonderful things. But in the meantime, they're waiting. They're not doing anything. They're getting involved with other things. They're not getting involved with the things they need to accomplish their goals. They're waiting for the money. When? Oh, it's tomorrow. Actually, today, some money got released. Oh, yeah, yours is tomorrow. Actually, today. Yeah. Oh, well, didn't quite happen today. It'll be tomorrow. I don't know. I'm sorry, that's the weekend, so we're going to have to wait till Tuesday. No, Monday, not Monday. Too much goes on Monday, so Tuesday. Tuesday is when. Yeah. It got everyone to stop. They want to shut down the world. They took all of the creative people waiting for money and stopped them from doing anything. Waiting for their paper so that they can go out and do their wonderful things. Stop it, as Bob Newhart said, right? Stop it. Stop waiting. Get moving. Participate. Right now, our participation is coming in the form of combating, the mainstream media. This is a war. It's not a war like has ever existed. And I know people don't like to say, well, I don't want to, use the word war. I don't want to, be in the bat. No, it doesn't matter. You're in the war. If the bomb falls on you, you're in the war. You don't want to be in the war. You don't want to participate. You don't like using the word war. It's too late, man. You're already in it. You're an enemy combatant by law. Everyone is an enemy of the cabal, and you are all slated for destruction. The good thing is that we're winning the war. QAnon has brought another way for us to get the information out. It's woken up people on how to engage, how to do puzzles, to figure out what's going on, to dig. Don't. The reason all of these fake things that they put out there to distract people. Those things are not lasting more than a couple days because the people dig. Now they don't accept things just on the face value of it. They say Ruth is out there. She's on the Supreme Court, right? And she's supposedly went through all this serious health issues, cancer treatment and so on, and that she's still vibrant, right? So now there's pictures coming out of her where she's like moving around and doing things, right? And but now people are digging into the photos that they're showing, and they're obviously photoshopped. They're taking her face and putting it on other people's bodies. It's obvious, right? This stuff can be easily found out. How to do any kind of image processing. You can pull out, you can see the boxes and the things where they popped in a box. It comes in a box, pop it in, and you got a line here and a line here and it's obvious. So people are digging. So we're now in a position to do something, right? Because we have Trump in the office, we have the U.S. military and QAnon phenomenon that is now organized and is systematically, they have a plan, taking out pieces, and the offense part has started. As soon as the Mueller report came out, that meant that all of the firewall, the blockade that they had put up is gone. Now we're seeing things happening. We're talking indictments. It's happening everywhere. The word treason is being thrown around. They're now even the New York Times is coming out and talking about what was the Russians that put together the Steele dossier. That's really wow. So we actually had Russian collusion between Russia and Hillary to create the Steele dossier, to put the blame, projection, mirror on Trump. Everything that they're doing, their tactic is to say, we're not doing it, you're doing it. Well, they don't even say we're not doing it. They're saying, you're doing this, but it's everything that they're doing. So when they want to, complain that or say that Trump is a racist and a homophobe and an ageist or whatever, it's them. You just look at some of Biden's comments, for example. Going to talk about racism. He'll say things. We're going to put you back in chains, or he'll say things that are derogatory or things like that, and then the media just ignores and just keeps going. Oh, let's not listen to Joe. He put his foot in his mouth again. But if it was Trump that said it, then it would never stop. So anyway, we're on the road to do a major change on how people get the information. It is through making our own efforts, our own getting our own news stories out, digging in. So we dig. This is different. Before, people would get the news, hear it on the TV, and what they would do, just go on with their business. Would they go and look at how the photo was created? No. But they dig into where they said that the story was from here or there, and they actually compare and say, well, it can't be from there, it's over here. Match the people in on the video and say, well, how did those people who are on this program, they were also in this tragedy over here as witnesses and bystanders and whatever. How are they over here too? How? It's because people are now looking. So we're getting trained by QAnon on how to do this, on what to look for. They should say, here's a clue, ask the question. And just ask questions. Ask questions. Ask a question. It's like, but it's really the direction to look. How does this and this match? So this is why we're able to now look at and compare. What am I doing here when I'm comparing David Jan and Gene Ho? Gene Ho is the photographer. And I'm comparing that to MSNBC, and what they're talking about. This is news. We are the news. That's why you need to participate and do your own video. So those that I'm in communication with it. I actually had a little conversation today about this, and someone saying, what I should do on the program. And with all respect, I understand people want to give positive suggestions on what to do, but please understand that I get positive suggestions on what to do on my show or mine and Tank's show all the time. It could be every day, and they would be conflicting, right? So my suggestion to everyone who wants to say what I need to put on the show or what needs to come on or how to do something, that you do your own show. With respect, I'm telling you, we need you to do your own show. I'm happy to help. You want to do a show, just go ahead, say, hey, I want to do it. Can you help? Come on, co-host, get me started. Sure, let's do that. Let's get a bunch of people, volunteers that want to do a show, and we'll get you set up on your own YouTube channel. It's not hard. Not hard. You just need a laptop. You just need a phone. You can do it off your phone. You can do it, and you can do 10-minute broadcasts. We are the solution, but we have to do it. Don't wait for the savior. You are the savior. We just all move together. We all get it done. So this is why it's highly important that we actually take this action, right? That we make an effort to make this happen. So the military is doing things, to assist things on the front, on the high level with Kim. We have to be down here working at the grassroots level, telling people what's going on. It's hard for people to accept. That's why we're talking about red pills. When you want to talk about this, here's some tips. Don't start talking about, the things that are so far out there that people think it's all sci-fi. But what you can talk about is the deep state. What is the deep state? It's a shadow government, the people inside the bureaucracy that are trying to control everything in the government, regardless of the politicians that we elect and put them in. They have their own plan, their own agenda, the bureaucrats. That's the deep state. It's true, but there's more to it. The depth of it is very vast. And to say that the deep state is worldwide, that's another level. Let's talk with people about what's happening with the people in politics and how the people out front are just puppets. This they can understand because it's the people with the money behind them that are pulling their strings. The depths at which that they control them may be too hard for them to accept. So just talk about that they are being controlled and they're following the money and they're doing the things about the money, because that is the level that's very easy to understand. We don't have to get into all of the very deep subjects. Let them pick it out on their own. Let them pick up on it when they ask questions. Then you can actually participate in that education and give them a bigger red pill, or I'm calling it, I think, pink, red, and neon, 3 levels of red pill. And the neon red pill, sometimes I want to make a 4th level, but no, 3 is enough. Because the stuff that is, how deep this goes and to the extent is so frightening. And it's quite unbelievable by most people that have been asleep. Let them have their coffee first, have their morning red pill. Oh, that's a good one. The morning red pill. Hey, we can make that a segment. Okay, I'm here with your morning red pill. Except I'm doing it. Well, I could do a separate one in the evening. I was thinking of starting a second time slot because for me this is early morning. For people on the other side of the planet, it's late night the previous day. So I could do one in the evening. They say 12 hours later, and start breaking it into some smaller segments, which is also, I think, a benefit. Tony is still helping me by breaking down all of the broadcasts into smaller chunks. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to place those on the Where We Go, When We Go All website in the smaller chunks there, so it'll be able to be found. I'll probably put them in 2 locations in case YouTube decides to go down for some reason. They'll be also existing as a separate link on another. So there's a couple of them. BitChute is another. Daily Motion. I used to have a Daily Motion account. Daily Motion is a good one. But to have like like the morning red pill, like what is the difference today? So mirroring is, I think, a very good place to start explaining to people whatever is coming across the TV. Just reverse it. If they're attacking, someone about something, just put it on them, because that's probably what is going on, most likely. So, and it's I guess one of the goals of the CIA is that they'll be successful when everything that everyone believes is a complete lie. Then they're successful, because the truth is what's hard. The truth of how this has just slid by for so long. The truth that the complete financial system is it's more phony than even you could have imagined. Thinking about this as me knowing that this is a debt slavery system. The scarecrow entity, the social security number attached to your birth certificate, and that they're trading on it. I mean, that's a whole level, right? Of our next level red pill, right? That's we go from the pink red pill to the red pill. That's when we're talking about that there is something a bigger architecture, and that's tied in with the UN, and that's tied in with the IMF and the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, all of these, this system, right? But to know that it's actually was designed to take every asset and move it into the hands of one trust. To know that that's what occurred, and that it was known only to very few people. Even if you're higher up in governments, your generals, the generals wouldn't even know this. They're at the level of thinking that, yes, there's a financial system, and this is how it works, and they know this, but they know to a certain level. They didn't realize that the end game here was 100% of everything owned by one, and everyone else underneath that is basically a slave. Even them. They couldn't, that's not them. They're in power. They have everything around them that says it. But they're part of the game. They're part of the system that just keeps the thing going, because everyone believes that they're doing the right thing along the way, that whatever their thing is. Some people are on the truly evil side, and they're doing bad things. Just looking to see if that was Tank. Well, so anyway, I'm going to go into our chat here and see what people have been saying. Let me go ahead and zoom in so I can make it bigger. Okay. So let me just go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So let's see. Well, yeah, I know he could hear me. I couldn't hear anything. Let's see. Speak it, Dan. Okay, I'm trying. Hope I'm making some sense to people here. Let's see. Yes, he heard me. He heard me. Yeah. Tank is waiting for you to call. Yes, I know. All right, we're just bypassing all of us. I mean, which is the best site to send proposals to? Also, we are currently at 501c3. Do I need to change it to a tax-exempt trust to qualify for funding? So my understanding of how this is that there is a way in which these funds will flow. There's this a tax-free association. Now, this under Go Camelot, I assume it's the same under the People's Club and Honor and Integrity Show. I don't know the actual name of that of Thomas's. I don't know what name they use, but I assume it's under the same kind of format. That it's an entity in itself. Like there's a Kringle Society, right? There's Pantera de Oro Society. These are societies. They have their own rules and regulations. These are private. It's nothing to do with public. So the rules don't apply there. So when you're in a 501c3, you are in their system. So that 501c3 is not going to be receiving the money, I don't think. Right? I believe it's only going to come through the trust that is set up for you that's under the association. So all the money will flow there. And so it's not, again, it's not to build up their system. So, but it doesn't mean you can't do your project. You're just not going to be under that entity. I may be wrong, but I think I'm right. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, gocamelot.com is the site. Again, that description is down in the description of this video. It's in all of them. All right. Right. And there's the Hangout. So if you want to join in, you can click on that. So did anyone listen to Michelle on Tank Show? Yeah, I actually did listen to it. It was a good show. Okay, why? I did ask, but I haven't had a response. I would like to be prepared for the best so I can get started right away when the funds are available. So those that are really ready to go, you can get your trust set up. Now, my understanding is you won't have to buy your trust later because the money will have been allocated for people to make trusts and things. I don't know how that's going to work, but I know if you want to get started right now, you will have to go ahead and it's a 100 or 120. I'm not exactly certain. Tank said he was going to set one up for me. I haven't pushed on the information, so he knows the projects. we got a lot to do. All right. So I really need to set up a trust in the name. You don't need to get it set up by another attorney. You have to get it done through the way they have it set up because it's doing trusts it has to be done a particular way. So their flow of funds is going to be all attached under this under a bigger trust, you might say, and everything you'll be in the sub trust of a bigger trust. That's kind of how it works. Okay. So, okay. Trust can be used for any business that you're involved with. Are you responsible for funding you use? Well, it's going to be done in stages, right? So if you have a project, right, there's going to be an allocation for you to get done with the next step, right? And you got to, be responsible for, doing it. So, you got say $10 million, that's for this, but you get the first $1 million, and then you spent that and getting offices and employees and all this kind of setup done, and then you need the next million, or you got to buy a piece of property, and that's $3 million. Okay, well here comes in the $3 million that's allocated. Then you get the next step, and you get the next step, and so then the funds get drawn down as you complete your steps. That all comes from the bigger trust. Let's see. I posted a link, but I've noticed that you do not have this chat in a certain mode. You're not seeing it on through Hangouts, I think. Yeah, I was trying to call in through Hangouts. That's what wasn't working for me, but I think that's just clowning around that's going on here. Okay. So, Charles, Yokohama Trust funded by Manna Trust. Then Yokohama Trust funds your personal trust. I'm trying to understand the chart. I can't answer that. I don't really understand to that detail. I just know the generality. Like, I didn't know that there was a separate Yamagata trust. I mean, I know he's creating trust, but not as a separate trust for that. And it's funding things. I don't know how that works. I don't know the structure. What happened? I lost track. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh, let's see. The chat room seems rather empty today. I wonder why. Any more clowning around? Makes sense. Okay. Dan presents great information. Oh, thank you. I'm listening to Tank and reading the chat. Okay. Can Tui speak more about healing centers? Well, okay, Tui, you have a question. Yeah, you've got the link if you're going to come on. Tui, I think, may have a few things to do. They do go on strike in 2 more days. That's be Friday. The strike is going to start. All those organizations.
Hello, Dan.
Oh, Tui, you're there.
Yeah, you can see me. I can see you.
I'm sharing my screen, so I didn't know that you were sitting. So they have a question for you, right? And so it's like, what more about the healing centers they want to know?
Oh, healing centers?
Yes.
Right. Yeah, there's a reason why I'm inviting everyone to come to Fiji, because all those questions will be able to be answered when we come here together and with all the different ideas from all over the planet, and we'll be able to sit and we'll be able to make decisions on what the projects and what the project has to be, or how it's going to be like. It's going to be because of the multidimensional part of the knowledge that we'll get. And so a lot of those questions that they're asking now will be able to be answered fully by the time, that moment, that time that we come together. Because there's so many ideas out there. They just need to come together in a place where we can discuss physically. So that's why the project that we are sitting right now in Fiji is just based on that. That's why we're having almost 60% of the funds, of the initial fund that's coming to Fiji, will be focusing on mobility funds. Yeah, so don't worry, you will answer your own questions when you come, but you have to come and take a break from your life wherever you are in the world. Try and come and experience the knowledge that you're going to gain from Fiji, and the knowledge that you're going to gain from me, from all the tribes in the Pacific, from the tribes all over, from Indonesia. I have some, one brother from Indonesia contacting me. I'll be inviting all of them from Indonesia, the native tribes there, to come. So there's a lot of questions out there. It will be so much easier because we will be, you're not just communicating 2-dimensionally or 3-dimensionally like what we do right now, but the 12-dimension communication will be much more broader because you're actually here physically and you'll be able to talk physically, and it will make it so much easier. And yes, the healing centers is a very broad subject because there are technologies out there that will come out once we do this. and they're just waiting for this to actually happen, for this gathering and coming together. So if right now we're having strike, we're having today there are people already taken to task, the directors of all these unions that are taken to questioning by the police. So they're trying to ask them why they are why they are going on strike, or they're trying to stop the strike. And by taking them to the police, they just make everything worse. And I'm letting all these things play out because I need free will and all this to happen, so that in a way, to be able to remind the government about the sovereignty, about all other people, and this is a way for people to take the. Sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
It's okay. We have a delay on the call, so it looks like it's about maybe about half a minute. So when I say something,
can you hear me then?
For half a minute. So I'll have to keep. I'll have to let.
Hello.
Well, now you don't. Now you're not hearing me. I have to start over. So I was just going to ask a question about the police. Were they getting paid? Because they're asking whether or not why they're on strike.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
I do hear you. Do you hear me?
Can you hear me now? Oh, the police is part of the government, and so if they break the yes. So try and get on again.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's a long delay, so it's hard to have a conversation. But I was just going to let you speak. It's okay, because once you're rolling and talking, it's okay.
Okay. The police, the government here, they're trying to control the situation. Yesterday we had a we had a news coverage on the news people, the media, trying to tell everyone in Fiji that this was fake news, and they're trying to do this as the way they do it in the rest of the US. That's how they try to control the mess by trying to say that the strike is fake news. There is no strike, but the people are suffering. The people are losing their jobs. They are not working. The people are not getting paid. There is no money in the government. And as you heard of about tanks, what Tank said yesterday about how there's no more funds in the Asian Development Bank. The structure that we have right now, I told the elders and the chiefs, we just have to go through with the strike, because this is a very good way to actually show the government that the sovereignty of the people, or show the people themselves that they have the power to control the government, because they are the government. As soon as they leave their work, as soon as they go on strike, the whole entire structure or the corporate structure goes on strike. And so the most important thing is people, because they are the one that value they are the source of the essence of what has value, or they're the source of work, they're the source of all the energy, the source of life. The source of life within them it gives value to money. That's how economy is able to actually run, or to be able to flow the money or the currency. And so this is a very big chance for everyone here, or everyone that is working in Fiji, to realize this, because they've forgotten this, and they always think that the prime minister or the leading government owns or controls the government, and they lack, and they lose their sovereignty in that way. So to be able to go through with this, they will stop working. Then they will start to realize that we are powerful. We have the power to actually break down the government and bring it to its knees. And then forward, we'll move forward, and we'll be able to work together. And so that's where we decided as chiefs in Fiji to come in and work together with the government and work together with everyone to be able to repurpose the whole structure of government, and we'll be able to realize that we need each other, that no one is more important than the other. Everyone has their role. Without people that are collecting the garbage, the families will find problems, and there will be the other. Everyone has their role. Without people that are collecting the garbage, the families will find problems, and there will be. Hello, Dan.
Yeah,
Can you hear me now?
I'm hearing you.
Oh.
Everything. I'm just letting you talk because I know there'll be a delay in the call.
Okay, so I think someone just came in and he speed up the call. So now I can actually hear you in real time.
Okay,
so that's good.
That's good. Oh, that's Scott. Hello, Scott.
Yeah. So now I can actually hear you in real time.
Okay.
So that's good.
Oh, that's Scott. Hello, Scott.
Hello, Dan. Hello, too. Hi.
So now I can actually hear you in real time.
Okay.
Oh, so Scott is having the delay now.
Hello, Dan. Hello, too. Hi.
Hi, Scott. Greetings
Hi.
to you.
Good evening.
Scott, mute your YouTube.
Scott is having the delay now.
Dan. Hello, too. Hi.
Hi, Scott. Greetings.
Hi.
Oh, and Tank is back. Hello, Tank.
Good evening.
Hello, Tank. Good evening.
Hey, who's this?
Oh,
Scott.
Tank is back.
Well,
Hey.
we have Tui on the line, and we have Scott on the line. Tui said that.
Hey, Tank. Greetings from Fiji.
Greetings from New York.
Yeah, sorry I wasn't able to make it onto the blog talk. It looks like the clowns are having fun.
Yeah. You know what? That's why. It is what it is. It's okay. I wanted just to share this because Kim did hit me up while I was talking, and she told me that the only thing holding us up right now, it's all about the banks right now, because the boards of these banks have been told they're going to get bazillions of dollars from the Federal Reserve. So I want to make sure to just drop a line and tell everybody the Federal Reserve will never open again. It is rendered absolutely useless. They are a failed asset. The powers of the Federal Reserve have been turned over to the Pentagon, and they are now controlling the FDIC. And the banks had better get in line with that. If they don't get in line with that, they'll be taken out some other way. And if that's what they want, they've chosen the wrong side. So any banker out there, and anybody who wants to check on this, look, I'm going to give all the banks the opportunity to use some of their intelligence right now. So I'm gonna break this down real quick for you, and I'm sorry for interrupting you guys, but let me just real quick break this down. This is the reality. The banks and all of the order, all of the deep state, all of you out there in the cabal, all of you worshipped these people at the top levels, the Rothschilds, and the Rothschilds worship those people above that. Now, all the people above that are dead. They're all dead. They were all killed the same day. Their heads were taken off and their hearts were taken out, so they will never regenerate. They're never coming back. There is one person left standing, and that's Kim. Now, that being said, when every one of those banks goes to access their master accounts and they go to their interbanking system, they can check and find out. Every intelligence agency, every treasury, every central bank, you can all go in and check. And when you go in and check, you will see the name there is Kim. And you'll see her passport. You'll see the exact same Homeland Security clearance that other people are trying to say is somebody else's. It'll be attached to her name. This is not speculation. It's not funny anymore. Stop being fools. This is the easiest fact in the world to verify for you people on that level that we can't get to. but you can look in that system and you can see there's one person there.
Hey,
and that person, yes.
Sorry, the TUI, he started. He told that their strikes are already started. Some people are already protesting, and the police are telling the people that are striking that they're saying that we're fake news. The information. So we've graduated. We're being called out. That this is happening on that level. So it is hard for people to grasp, that that the money is not coming from where they think it is, right? Why does Fiji and all these island nations not have any money right now? It just stopped, right? Where is it?
Yep. But if they don't have money to pay them, but who is paying the police to steer them, the protest saying that we are the fake news? Are they not getting paid also?
The police are privately owned by the Rothschilds.
I see. That's why.
And I'll tell you, and the Rothschilds, every dime they have is being invested into their private stuff, right? Their private military. They have nothing. And I'll tell you what, that money will run out quick too. So all the police out there who might have chimed in, so you could find out what to tell people is not true. If you even put that effort in that research, your paychecks are about to run dry too. And believe me, that is definitely in control of the trustee. And I'm actually going to recommend that next. That cut off all the funds to all the mercenaries, all of the paid forces, and get their attention. Because when they stop getting a paycheck, maybe they'll start listening, right? It's like, then they'll realize, oh, wait, we're just people, right? We're people too, right? So in Fiji, TUI, all you got to do, you get a hold of the central bank, wherever the real terminal is. That's not a SWIFT terminal. That's a SWIFT 2 terminal or a Treasury direct access terminal. You get in front of that terminal, and I will prove to that whole government in about 15 minutes exactly who's really in control.
Indeed.
And I'll tell you what, we're fake news. Where are these jokers at when they're running their mouths talking about us? When Kim said, you come together, come out in public, any one of them who says they got money. How's the AIIB doing? Did they bring money in? Were they successful? TUI?
Well, the meeting's still going on right now. So
that meeting's going to be ongoing indefinitely. And you're not going to look, they don't have any money. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah, the strike is going on right now.
There's no money. They don't have any money. So here's what they're doing. They're stalling. And the reason why they're stalling is the same reason why everybody out there whoever thought that GCR was real. They're stalling for the same reason we did. We thought it would show up. We thought the GCR was going to happen. We thought for sure it's going to happen this time. It's going to happen this time. And I'm telling you, it's not going to happen. And all the bankers, all the governors of the central banks, all the prime ministers, all of you who have been bribed, you have been bribed. You've got a group down there in Fiji. When they find out that you got a bribe and that you're being told, if you just hold the line, that you're going to get all this bazillions of money, right? And that's what's going to happen. Now that's the truth. That all the governors of central banks and usually somebody in the government high up, they've been told they're going to get all this money. You're not getting a dime because the real assets are not in your control.
Indeed.
And that's where we're at. And I'll tell you what, this right here is this part's so exhausting. We don't have to fight about this. You can prove this. All you got to do is go into the terminal, and anybody can see it. It is a fact. So I don't care what it's an honor for them to try to call us fake news, because all we have is facts. But you got somebody like the Kingdom of Manna, they're going to come in and they're going to say in one breath that they're working with Kim very closely in the Manna World Holding Trust. Then they're going to say in the next breath, well, Kim was removed. Which one is it? They're the frauds. My message has not changed. My message has not changed. My message is like the current in the river. It just keeps on coming.
Thank you. I just want to say just a few words, just to add on what you're actually saying right now. I'm right now. I'm very, very happy that for the last 2 days I've been contacted by the tribe from Australia, the Aboriginal tribe that worked with Kim from the beginning. My brother Zagamara, if you're listening in, thank you so much for calling, because that's the reason. The whole reason why I tried to talk and tried to reach out to you, Tank and Dan, is because I want those the two tribes that were there in Australia to be able to get connected to me, because we call it in our language. They're called our Matangali, and they were the ones that actually helped Kim to form the Kingdom of Manna. And so they've reached out to me last night, and I said, yes, finally, I've been waiting for your call for a very long time. And they are so happy that we are getting into contact. And my brother Zagamara, he used to work for the United Nations. And Kim and him, and they were the original tribe that Kim was talking about. That we had the contract, or not the agreement, or the trust written on a kangaroo skin. And so in the olden days, in a legend, there used to be one big landmass here. There was no separation. And so the whole 12 tribes from here in Fiji, Hawaii, and the 12 tribes were part of this original agreement of returning the sovereignty back to the planet. So that's what you call the Manna Agreement. And so I was thankful to be talking with their chiefs and their elders. And thank you so much. And thank. They've requested if we can do a Skype with me and the chiefs there in Australia, with Kim and with you, and if possible, if with them, and to be able to talk about some of the things that are happening right now. And yeah, so that was a request that I said that I would pass on to you, and if you can let Kim know that I told them yesterday, yes, the 12 tribes in the Pacific has woken up, and we have to complete our role on helping the trust, help Kim, and help you guys then in any way, because they've set up the system with her, and how the what you call it, the law side of it, the legal side of it, because they were aware of how the sovereignty laws and how the law of sovereignty can actually work, or they design and they constructed the different letters and all this, and this was in 2016. And so they were happy that I told them that I was on the show, and they could hear me talking about Kingdom of Manna and the correction that needs to be done. And so I told them, no, it's just everyone is sovereign. We just need to help each other grow. And sometimes we choose a different path, and we have to correct it. And since they have started out the Kingdom of Manna, the people of Manna in Fiji, I told them that the Kingdom of Manna cannot come and pretend they are Manna, because if they don't understand what they're talking about, then we'll be the one guiding them to actually learn about this unity and love that is supposed to be sovereign in every living things on the planet. And yeah, so I'm very happy that that has happened. It has given us a new probability of how the funds can actually come out, and maybe if we can use and thank if because they understand how to actually do that, to create a new terminal and a system, a monetary system where it's not what you call this. There's no infringement from outside, from the government and from any other secret service on this. So they were able to do that, and that's how they deal with the system they created with the Kingdom of Manna, and they worked with Yaspa Element until Yaspa Element turned rogue. So Zagamara was not talking to them anymore, because they stopped listening to Zagamara, and so only Dr. Stewart and Jesper Element were the one, and Dr. Stewart was the one talking about it there in Australia. And so I really enjoyed talking yesterday because I finally, Matangali, finally reached out to us, and so they're happy and we're happy. And the chiefs here in Fiji, when they had the news that we started talking, they just say that yes, the timeline is actually coming together again. And thank you. I'm indebted to you, DANK and Dan, for allowing me, for being able to listen, and being able to allow me to just speak some of the expression of what it means to be sovereign. For every person, not just me, but every chief in Fiji and every native people on the planet, everyone on the planet. So I just have a message to everyone. If according to, because there's a lot of people, they ask me, are we the original tribe? Are we the original tribe? Do you have anything about us from this part of the planet? Do you have anything about us from this part of the planet? And I just want to say it is now. And if you can, if you come across this information or this agreement, there's a lot of people talking about the 5 tribes. This is what it means. I will tell you right now. The 5 tribes is very simple. If you have 5 limbs, if you have 5 hands, then you are the 5 tribes. And if you don't understand it yet, that's the 5 expression of what it means, the 5 element within you. If the DNA agreement that you are on right now, the male and female expression, this is part of the agreement from the original agreement in the past. The recollected confederacy that we are part of is just the realization of that awareness to become sovereign, or to realize that God is within them. And that's the process that we are going on right now. And so the process that's happening within everyone, that is also happening outside of us, is just one whole entire separation coming together. And that's and so no matter how you are on the planet, if you have 5 fingers, if you can breathe the air, if you can eat the food or share the love with the planet, if you can see the 3-dimensional reality around you, then you are part of this agreement. It's got nothing to do with the separation of what the culture is, or what the native is, or how native you are. It's just the agreement that you are not separated from this planet. You are the planet. And the 5th element agreement is in you. That's why you're alive. And the expression of your life and your choices in a lifetime, that is what you're here to actually fulfill. Because you need to gather those information and take it with you. And so if you think that, no, I'm not native to anywhere, I know where you are right now, please don't don't create those illusion, those physical illusion of separation, or where you're from, or whatever country you may be from, or you're staying in a different country. No, you are the planet. You are the air that you breathe. You are the water. You are the land. You must remember this, because that's the simplest things you need to recognize. Don't try and create all this illusion and try and create identity out of them. You will get lost in the illusion, and the separation will never stop. And so you have to remember that. And so it's really simple. The physical body, male and female, and that's how the spiritual energy works. That's how this whole planet was created. You can't create only in the masculine spirit. You have to have the creative energy of the spiritual, the feminine spirit. That's why right now Kim owns all the assets, because this is the first lesson that humanity has to learn. The feminine spirit has been suppressed for so long. Like even in Christianity, they don't know that the feminine part of God. They always think that the God is always masculine, and you have the Holy Spirit to be the source of creation. No, the feminine part of it, just like what you're doing. If you're living in the body and you love someone, or you love a wife, you have the children, that's how the whole agreement was created. You are not, don't try and read something outside of your body and try and think that that's you, because this is you creating illusions and all the knowledges and all this, and you thinking that this is truth. No, you will always get lost, and you always be separated because of this 3-dimensional illusion you've created. And so that's what's happening everywhere in the world. They've created all these illusions. That's what's happening right now in the US, the banking system, all the system that protects the money. They've created all these systems to try and protect them. All these illusions to try and protect them. But at the end, now it's not protecting them. It's just it's like it's like building a cage. It's imprisoning them anymore. It's not helping them anymore. So in order for you to remove the cage, you have to realize that you created, and then you have to change from it. So if that's gonna be so hard, that's why we invite you to come to Fiji. You will be able to see through all this illusion, and you'll be able to clear it really easily. And so we just have to remember that there are a lot of our brothers and sisters are still part of that big illusion, still part of all the secret services and all these other. They try to design these to try and protect us, but the illusion is now imprisoning everyone. And so they have to wake up. And if we do these things here in Fiji, they will we'll be able to show them how to do it, show them how to repurpose the whole structure. And no longer the illusion becomes a prison, but the illusion is used to actually free you. So this is what it means to be sovereign, to be able to understand that you are the source of all the illusion. And it's a path that everyone has to learn and everyone has to understand. So as my role is in the tribes here in the Pacific, now I'm very thankful that the two tribes there in the Aboriginal culture in Australia, they're gathering together, and now they are finding each other. And as we come together, I know the spiritual lesson with each and everyone on the planet will come together as well. So I'm very thankful to everyone and to all the roles that you are playing different in the different places or the different part of the world that you're playing. And I'm looking forward to getting everyone that's on the call or everyone that's listening in, everyone that has heard about what's happening in Fiji. Even if you don't understand what the trust simply means, we will invite you to come and to come here in Fiji and celebrate this structure with us, this change with us. And we hope that you will come here and you will learn, and you'll go back to the place where you come, and then you'll be able to actually express that love that you come and learn here. And so we'll be looking forward to that. And that's the first part of the project that we're going to be doing. It's not really a project; it's just gathering up of the whole family of the people of the planet. And like I told the chiefs, we are not going to be doing projects to try and help people or to try and help the background, the physical illusion. No, we have to change the experience of everyone, and then we will mobilize all the people that are involved in this project or whatever projects that you may be involved in. And if you would love to come to Fiji, we would really love to have you here. And so, yeah, thank you so much, Dan, and thank you everyone for being in the show tonight. Thank you everyone on the chat room, wherever you may be in the part of the world. Love and blessing and peace be with you from Fiji. Yeah, and so thank you so much.
Hey, Tui, when do you want to do it? What is what's his name again from
Jagamara?
Man, I do not understand what you're saying, but I know he reached out to me a while ago, and I would love to set that up as soon as possible to set up a Skype call. I'll stay up as late as you need me to tonight if he wants to get it done today, because I don't think that we can hang back anymore and move at a leisurely pace. So
indeed,
I know it'll probably be hard to get Kim on today right now because she's so focused on her end, and she's been working and programming and trying to completely bypass their systems. But I do think there's something, anything, I'll make sure anything that he wants to accomplish, we can talk about, and then I can present it to Kim in a, she does have some experience with it, so.
Yeah, sounds good.
So let me know.
That's okay.
So yeah, as soon as you can get it organized, let's do it. Let's not waste any time.
Indeed.
And Tank, a question: just those transactions just only work on the major bank, not the credit union bank. Does it work through the credit union bank, or just only the major banks?
Well, credit unions all clear somewhere, right? So traditionally, what's happened here in the United States is that you have the Federal Reserve would clear the accounts, right? So you have your routing number and your account number. So your account number is your account, and then your routing number is just your account at the Federal Reserve. So even the credit unions would have to clear through the Federal Reserve traditionally. Now the Federal Reserve isn't working that way anymore, so things should be clearing through the Department of the Treasury. And but unfortunately, what's happening is that the Department of the Treasury has still got some roaches in there with Mnuchin and whoever these other random subjects are that are there. But meanwhile, Kim has worked around that, so she can bring the money directly into the bank right by the Treasury. So it's already sitting in the bank. And the only real problem now is that these individuals in the Treasury who are being purged as we speak, essentially they were calling the banks and saying, don't clear these transfers from the Pentagon or from Manna. And, and they're, and it's they're used to getting calls from the Department of the Treasury, right? Like that's not abnormal. But what they're not used to is, a significant amount of money being transferred from the Pentagon to a project owner's account, right? So that makes sense to them because they've never seen it before. So to call them up and say, don't clear that, it's fraudulent, the people who receive those messages, they don't even question it. But all it would take is the proper memo that goes out from the head of the bank, but they're holding out for the GCR. They're holding out for the revaluation. And the revaluation is never going to happen. That will never happen. I know because there's no assets to back it. All of the things they keep trying to do, every time they do it, they waste another, $1 billion in their effort because Kim shuts their whole system down. So they can put all the money they want into trying to build new systems and do whatever they want. It's going to shut down every time. The quantum system is thousands and thousands of years old. It is not going to disappear. It is connected to everything on the planet. It is the technology is 2,000 years ahead of anything here. There really, and the only reason why there could be a press forward right now, but the problem is Kim is doing this in line with natural law. Not the problem. The reality is Kim is doing this in line with natural law. So that means when she takes action, she has to consider the damages of everything she does and who it's going to hurt. So that's why she can't just shut down everything. Because believe me, I've recommended before, like shut down everything, just shut down everything, shut down the power, because she could do that. But that wouldn't be in harmony with liberating humanity, right? That would essentially be like terrifying humanity and feeding them. So yes, it can work with any bank, depending on their system. The only thing is that once it gets to a bank, you still have to have someone at the bank who credits the account as of now. But I'm pretty sure Kim has got that worked around.
Because I can just go to the bank and talk to the bank manager and say, I do have a project. The funds is gonna come in, and it's they have to clear.
They don't though. See, they don't clear their stuff. Someone else clears it for them. That's the thing. Because believe me, anything like if it was that easy, we would have thought of it. Like we've worked this from 1,000 different angles. I mean, I had 100 people who were out setting up accounts everywhere and got in very, very deeply in these banks, and we challenged the system all over the United States and other countries as well. It really either the banks come on board or we bypass them completely. But we're very close to a stage, Kim's been saying, where there will be no more human interference from anybody else. So that when she wants to transfer, they won't be able to stop it anymore very soon. And then they won't be able to touch it either. So I think she has that finished, and she's giving the Department of the Treasury and the Pentagon the opportunity to get their ducks in a row. Is what
nice.
That's my belief. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So, I was I was doing the show when you're on Blog Talk. I kind of covered something that was about the historical bonds. Really, some people were talking. I was offered some Morgenthau bonds yesterday from my Chinese partner. Our friend in Russia was talking about some Morgenthau bonds, and I was going to just trying to outline and say, why, they're real pieces of paper. They were issued with the intent of them holding asset, but I was going through and describing how the system has literally used these as just a way to get the gold out of the hands of the people around the planet, right? And they took it away, and then when they were time to redeem or give the gold back, they would say those were fake, or they would only redeem for certain people, and then at a certain point, that was like in the past. But then by 2008 or 2007, all of this has already been redeemed. It's just pretty paper out in the world. So the whole system is fraudulent.
That's right.
And the people that have been in it, think that it's fair and it's true and everything, but it's not. It actually there's even the people in the upper levels of banks don't even know that the system that they're in is fraudulent. They think that it's all correct and this is the way it's done, and they don't think about it. They don't critically think through this process. Like, where does the money come from? Right? They have an allocation number. Even if they know there's an allocation number, that means they have the authorization to create that cash because there's an allocation number based upon an asset. But they don't understand the process, what it means, where it came from, why a historical bond, it'll come up as being a valid bond, issued at a certain time but you can't redeem it. Right? So,
That's right. All of these, even when they were going to redeem the bonds, they gave them over to somebody, right? They gave them over to somebody, and then they gave them back an SKR. But in reality, what they did is they took your asset, right? They took your asset, and they used the echelon system, which I think it's the echelon system. They used the echelon system where the gray screens exist, and they put up a mirror where your account was, right? And they took the money from you, right? They took the money, and now you have a mirror that can't be moved, right?
yeah, the mirror, you see it in the mirror. It was like a photograph. They took a screenshot, right? And the gray screens are just a screenshot. Here you go, right? So everyone logs in, they get into their account, and they see the screenshot of the money they used to have.
Right. And that's why you can't even hardly transfer money without them being like, well, let's use a trading instrument. Here's how we do it. Like, no, you use trading instruments, right? And these various financial instruments, they call, they're always talking about their financial instruments, right? The reason why you have to do that is because they're just using it as collateral. So they're using an account that has something in it, and they're using that as collateral to create, fake money, and they trade back and forth with money that's not even there. They collateralize it, then they turn it into fake money. But those platforms, they're not even real. The money you started with isn't real. Because if it was real, there'd be a real asset attached to it, a real allocation number. And nobody in banking has had access to those since 2007. Now that's a harsh reality that, because anybody in this, unless you're part of the upper echelons of the order, and you cashed in on those bonds, to, like, you don't have a real asset. You have an original historical document. So I don't want to take. I mean, I do think those are valuable for historical purposes, but they are not. You know, they're not valued. At these obscene numbers. I sent one of the biggest transaction that was taking place in the past 2 years was through the White Dragons, and they were set up. The head of the White Dragon family, that would be the Austrians, was up in Switzerland. And there was a group, I mean, of like 300 lawyers. I mean, of the best lawyers in the world, right? All these financial lawyers. And so they had convinced everyone that the reason why this stuff hadn't gone through is because people had not filled out the paperwork the right way. They had not filed things the proper way. And I was speaking to a lawyer out of Spain, and he was breaking it down for me. He was saying, no, I know my paperwork is airtight, and I said, look, because he was such a good guy, he was really trying. I had this 1933 or 23, something like that, Chinese war bond. So he asked me if he could use it. I said, sure, you can, so I sent it to him, and now allegedly it was worth like $20 billion. Now I knew it was useless. I knew it was already cashed in, but just to let him go through the process himself, he went through it and went through all this stuff. They got right up to the door, right? And the White Dragon for the Austrians, right? The Austrian faction of the White Dragons, he confessed to all those lawyers who had gone through extensive work, had thousands of people enrolled to redeem ZIM and historical bonds. And he said, I don't have the codes. Because he had codes, but they wouldn't access it, right? He had one of these old code books, that had been passed down, right? They used to work at one point, but everything was made digital in the 70s. And from that point on, the only reason why any of those old codes worked is because the White Throne allowed them to. He allowed them to stay active. And when he shut them off, they were done. And I know since Kim has been in control since 2012, all of the codes are made in real time by the only person who has access to the system based on her living DNA, and she makes the codes in real time. And I've been with her on the phone when she made the codes, right? So I know that for a fact. Like, I've sat there with her, and we've joked about coming up with silly names for the codes, because the codes aren't nearly as important as the person putting the codes in. And if she has an agreement to do a transaction, she can do the transaction however she sees fit, when she wants. So I know, I mean, it's a sad reality of that whole, that whole fraudulent system. They took all those things and sold them back to people just to make it. I mean, after they hadn't taken enough from us, they took people's bonds, stole them. They stole their bonds. They stole the actual value of them. Yeah. Then they sold them back to other people.
Yeah, they sold the paper.
Yeah,
and the paper's real, and they can even confirm that it's has something attached, but the value was already stolen away. It was registered, right? Register means to put under the ownership of the crown, the royal registry. Right? It's a regal to register. So it's. The whole process of any time you're going to register means you're turning over the asset. You no longer have it. They gave you paper. They gave you pretty paper. They gave you currency, right? And that was it. Now the asset has no value. The asset was transferred. The paper has no value anymore, except for historical.
Right. And some of them never even had value. I mean, the inflated ZIM notes, they printed it on bond paper, so everyone went nuts. Like, it's real because it's on bond paper. It's not, because the system that you register the asset in, right? You have to register the asset, the in-ground asset or the above-ground asset, to the asset redemption program, right, or the system, and they would go register it. And since 2007, none of that currency is real. So the currency made in 2008, 2009 for the ZIM, it's not even real. It's never been registered, because they don't have the right to those assets, because every asset on the planet was already registered to the trust in 2007.
So that's a good point. The land of Zimbabwe, this currency was supposedly bonded the land to the currency. The land was already registered as an asset prior.
Right.
So they didn't have the authority to attach the land to the bond.
Right. It's like me selling your house. It's like you own the house, you live there, and then, like you go away for the weekend and I start showing up with people to buy the house and I sell the house on you. You're like, wait, this is my house, right? Like, and you come back. Now you have two people that are trying to, lay claim to the house, right? Those assets, that's what the MERS system is too. It's the same principle. You register it, with the mortgage electronic registration system. You register there, and they're trying to take ownership of all these things, and they're just doing it to survive because that's all they know how to do. So it's not, they're not going to come up with a new plan, right? It's the same thing. So all we have to do is just stop participating. Like, we don't honor your garbage contracts. We know where the wealth really is. You're outed. We know where it is, and we're claiming it.
Yeah, and so the system is just set up as a big a con. It's a con job. They told all the countries, right, register your asset, right, your land, register your land, the land of your country as part of your corporate entity, right? You become part of the United Nations.
Yep.
Okay, so you're already transferring your ownership, right, at that time.
Correct. Now, those United Nations contracts are all expired, by the way, and they're expired because it doesn't matter what agreement has been made since then, because the only one who can honor those agreements is Kim, and she has not honored any of them. She does not recognize any contract made with the United Nations that subjects the people. Even MERS has no power because Kim doesn't acknowledge it. Because at the end of the day, they're trying to register it into the master system. They can't register an asset that Kim already owns. I'm not Kim per se, but like it's already owned by the trust.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what they try to do. So I thought about it, afterwards when they were, when now they're still trying to do it and there's still an operation going on. So these things are still playing out in public view, as problems. But you know what? They're not even problems because the solution is still the same. At the end of the day, Kim restores the asset, and whatever contract you had, that voids that one because her authority supersedes it.
Yeah. Well, now it's kind of for those countries out there, why would they agree to this, right? Why back when they first decided to join in, why would they sign up? Why would they think this is a good idea? Well, in the con, right, they're going to present them this pretty picture. And the way in which the system was to create the cash based upon the asset, right? You had to have the allocation number, but it was to go into projects. The projects were humanitarian projects. You get your whatever this was supposed to be. The World Bank would then, which doesn't have any money, never had money. They are only approving the humanitarian project. That project, with the number associated with it with the World Bank, would then be able to go to the IMF, and the IMF would then take the project and then trade on it to create the funds by selling off the project into pieces, and they would sell it to one another, and they'd go in a big circle, keep selling back and forth. You may even buy your own project back from someone else at a higher price. Right. So you're continually reselling these back and forth, and each time you're raising the price, not at a discount. You're always raising the price. That's what created money in the system to go out and do the project. From them escalating it in that fashion. So it's great for the countries, right? Because you could get all your dams and your roads and your schools and the redevelopment of this area. It was great. So why would the countries sign up for it? It says, oh, great. We're able to get money because we come in and we put up an asset. They'd give us cash in the system that we can then trade to get the supplies and pay the people. And then that would create an economic boom. Problem is that after everyone signed up, and then they turned over asset, that cash would get stolen by the people in the system. And I think you said it was only 2% of the money went to the project.
Less than, like 1.5%.
1.5% will go to the project, and it was just enough to get like the people busy on the project, right? But they couldn't complete it. They couldn't really get real started. They couldn't order the major supplies. They couldn't, get all the, move all the earth or whatever. They couldn't do anything other than get some ideas about planning, right? See, it seems like the same thing as happens with the people in the GCR now, right? Just except they have no money. You go out and do all this planning for free.
Well, they would give them like T-shirt, and website money is what I call it, right? So like you can buy enough T-shirts, hire some people, put up a website, and they're counting on the next phase of the project to come through, and it never does.
Right.
Never. And then, they've perpetuated the system over and over again. And then, if you listen to Dale, a few last week sometime, who came on from Australia, and he was talking about how he's been all over the place, and they just spent their last dime to get project funding from somebody like the AIB. I forget who it is, but somebody out of Hong Kong, right? And I'm like, look, Hong Kong has no money, right? And the Hong Kong Monetary Authority only allows $9 billion to even travel through their system a day. So Hong Kong doesn't have any money. HSBC doesn't have any money. I mean, they're in dramatic negative liquidity. So, and that's where, all of the Chinese Development Fund stems from, is from the, from HSBC. So, but he talked about this, how, he'd go in to do a project, one group would go in to dig a well, another group would come in behind them and say, oh, well, these wells are illegal, and they'd fill the well in, right? That's what they have perpetuated, a stale, stagnant society. It's a nonstop, they give a little and they take more every single time, and then you can never get ahead. That has to change. And anybody out there in government, all of you who are backing these people, they're trying to kill you. You will never get ahead. And you should go to the governor of the bank, of the central bank. You should go to the prime minister. You should go to the heads of these places if you have access, and hold them to task, because they can go right into the system and prove what I'm saying is true. They can look right at it, and they can see the person's name on the real money that you want to access is Kim Gogan. And I will walk you through the process. You get that person on the phone and you hold them accountable. I'll walk you right through it, and you'll see in 5 minutes I'm telling the truth. I can prove this to every single bank in the world simultaneously. I will broadcast it, give you the account numbers and the codes over on a live broadcast if you guys just go do the right thing. And I'll prove it to everybody in the world instantly. Because it's that simple. There's no reason to speculate, right? We know this is a fact. And whoever's the gatekeeper, they're the problem. If you've got somebody between you and the decision maker, they are the problem. And I'm giving you the method to identify them too. Take that person out. Get rid of that person. Bypass that person. Get to the decision maker. Because the decision maker knows how to access the system. You need to get into a transfer room, and you can see exactly what I'm saying is true. And I'm telling you, it works 1,000% of the time.
So TUI, get it lined up. Go get to that Swift Terminal 2 at the central bank, and bring the prime minister with you, and then prove it out. He's running back to the iPad.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry, Dan.
Yeah, it's okay.
Say that again.
I was for you to go ahead and set it up with the prime minister to go to the central bank and get on the Swift Terminal 2, and then we'll televise it, or we'll put it on live video. You got to get someone.
Oh yeah.
To do the video.
Of course, we're gonna do that.
And we'll show
yeah. Because it's just that right now he's still in that meeting in Nandi, and we don't have any connection. Like we don't have we can't reach him. We'll wait for that. When that ADB meeting finishes.
You go in on a tank.
Right, exactly. That's right.
Sit on the front.
All these meetings with all these different groups, they're a waste of time. They're a
Just
waste
stalling.
of time because you could just walk in. You can walk
That's
in
true.
and just be like, look here, boom, it's done. We can look like, for example, right now in the United States, Steve Mnuchin goes into Afghanistan after he's told not to, right? He goes there for whatever the, financial convention of, the evil empire is, right? He comes back, thinking he's a hero. He's got all these gold certificates, right? From the Gao family. That's the name on the gold certificates. They go to put those are the Chinese elders, right? So the Chinese elders saved the day. Trump right there in his own Oval Office, he turns, he types in the number, and you know what happens? Though that gold is hallmarked and the certification number, it doesn't come up with Gao as the name, it comes up with Kim. So that happened. Now, why the heaven does this guy still work for us? He never worked for us. Why does he work for the government? What power does this guy have? It's amazing to me. This stymied, shifty dude. Why is he in our government? Somebody take that guy out. First of all, Kim cannot take action against anybody unless it's self-defense. But let me tell you something. That man's attacking every single person on the planet. Because when the United States, the empire of that corporation falls, that the corporation I'm talking about, not the country, not the republic, the empire of the corporation.
Say Inc.
That's right. Yeah, the Inc. Right, whatever. That's all it takes. It's done. It's over. That's why Kim's put all our energy in there. Everything else flows from there. And it can be done in seconds. And anybody in the Department of the Treasury, you already know because we've been paying your salary for a year. So enough. Pentagon, you know what? Send in the troops. And this is nonsense. These games are useless. Go ahead.
I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Yes. I think that's what we're gonna try and teach people in Fiji about that we wouldn't want to help. I wouldn't want to. I don't want Kim to pay for pay for the people that are actually stopping everything. So here in Fiji, we'll get everything, and we'll wait until they realize that they don't have any money, and all the people realize that these people don't have any power, and then they will be able to learn that they're just normal, they're just human beings, just like everyone else, and because that's something that they can't put up in their mind right now. They still think they have this control, and the control that they're still trying to inflict on everyone else. And yeah, this, like you said, Tank, it's a lot of lesson that people are learning there in the US. Here in Fiji. In Fiji, it's really simple because, like I said, we'll wait for this strike to happen. Just because I want the sovereignty of other people to be expressed, because now they can truly tell the government that they are the one that is also part of the government. They're also in control of the government, and the prime ministers and all these people on the top are not just there. They are public servants. They should be public servants, and they are not, they're not controllers of the public, or they're not controlling the people. So this chance to have this strike, it will be a proof to everyone on, not just here in Fiji but everyone around the world, that everyone has their role on this big on the whole planet. And if someone is neglected, it's going to spoil the whole thing. And so that's the lesson we are going to be learning. As soon as the prime minister will be going through this and they'll be having problems, we'll come to them, we'll come to the governor of our central bank, and we'll be able to tell them that this is it. And this is just the initial fund that, like I already mentioned, like just like what you mentioned, Tank, you just send us an initial amount, just wake them up that there's funds coming here, where is it coming from, and then it will enable us to talk, and it will put value to the words that we will tell them, or to the words that we'll say, and they will be able to, it will help us reunite ourselves and help us talk with one another, and we'll be able to regenerate our own country. because we will start to talk about the problems, the whole agreement about slavery systems and all this. Because this all these government people, they have no idea about what is actually the truly what is happening on the true system that's controlling the world. Because if they, like in Fiji, if all of them fully understand this, they will change. They will want, because they still care. They're just still human beings, just like everyone else in our country. They love their family. They love to go to church. They love to, they love all their friends, and they will change. We'll just we'll just talk, and we'll contact you, Tank and Kim, and we'll be able to access the terminal, the shift to terminal that you're talking about, and we'll be able to work together and repurpose the whole structure of government, and hopefully that everyone in the Pacific will be able to learn the same thing, be able to do it as quickly as possible, and in Hawaii and in the rest of the Pacific, however they will repurpose their own, or however they will restructure their own way of actually running as a tribe or as a government, however they would fit, however they see fit to the way they will actually control and run everything, and to the way they will run their projects, or whatever that may be, whatever part in the world. They would be able to learn something, a lesson from here in Fiji. Last night I was talking with the tribes from Australia, and they were trying to teach me about the way that people can run, or to get away from the system of slavery. And I mentioned to them that we already did that. We already have what you call the law of the land in Fiji, and we have what you call the book of life. So every native person in Fiji, or native sovereign being in Fiji, are recorded in the book of life. And so that's why our government cannot grow economically, because the entire native tribes own the whole 95% of the land. And so we own it. And if they come to our village, they will have to do the service. They will ask for permission, because the villagers or the chiefs in the village are sovereign. They are not. It's not like any other government in the world where they can just come in because they own everything. So this is what I was talking about. There's two sovereignties in Fiji: the native tribes, and the government that's just lying on top. And just because they have money, and they try and control they have control or power of the money, and a lot of people, and they are through education and all this, they've changed the values to money. That they have that power all over of controlling the people and controlling it. But ultimately, if they come to the villages, they have to ask permission. They'll come in. They won't just come in and drive through the village. They will get off the trucks, and they will bring the cover, the roots that we have in Fiji, simply represent the sovereignty of the land, and they will use that to ask permission to do work in a village or in their land. And so we are protected in that way. So that's why I was saying, that's why I understand what sovereignty, what sovereignty really is, and what Manna really is, because we have that here, living. We are practicing it, and we don't have to be taught about sovereignty. That's why I can teach anyone on the planet about sovereignty. And this is what I need people to come wherever they are in the world to come and learn from here, and learn that structure of how you respect each other, because of the sovereignty that you express. That's the creative force that you have created in this life. And we are living what you call a living example of what sovereignty is. And even though we have a corporate structure that's trying to actually imprison or enslave people, their power is limited because of the law of the land that we follow. And I was telling the tribes because they don't have anything like that in Hawaii, in New Zealand. The land is all taken over by the corporate government, and they were just being given for us in Fiji. We don't have it, and our ancestors already knew that this is going to happen, so that's why they prepare. They did what they did even before there was an official colonial government in Fiji. They already set up these even before that, even before there was any town, even before there was any, because they knew that this is going to happen. That the law of the sea, which symbolizes, if you look in the Pacific, we are separated by sea, and that's the symbolic. Like I said, we don't have book. The land is our book. The reason why everyone in the Pacific are separated by sea is because it's the symbolic representation of the law of the sea, the whole planet. The people are running on the law of the sea. And so we are just, if you come here, you'll be able to learn all this. Because there are some people, they ask me about the legends and all that. You will come to the land, and the land will teach you. Because the land is you. And in that way, you'll be able to remember the sovereignty that people need to learn about. And that's why, like I said, our role, the chiefs, will be physically doing this, will be moving all over. And as an initial project, that's the initial project that we're going to be doing. Very simple. We'll be choosing 1,000 people. They will be working, and the wages will be the same. They will have a design that I already spoke about, and to try and change, and it will grow because as we come from country to country, people will become more aware and more fully aware of just not just what it means to be sovereign, but actually how to actually do it, and how to connect to the trust and realize and re-understand the role of Kim and what the trust and Kim and the trust and what they represent to this new creation. And that's when we were talking last night with the tribes in Australia, they were shocked because they were trying to teach us about how to come out of the sea, and here we are already running on the law of the land. And they said, okay, we'll have to come there, and we'll be able to learn from what you have. I said, yes, and we will learn from you, and we'll learn from each other, because the experience of separation all over the planet has been going on for so long. We have learned enough. There's enough lesson that just needs to be learned. The only thing that's continuing right now is just because there are some people still holding on tight to their old illusion in the old system. And this is what it means to us in Fiji, or this is what the Manna means to us. And we are excited and we are looking forward. So if you are there listening in, please don't worry, you are invited. Yeah, we'll be paying for you. Will be paying for your fare. We want you to come here, because that's our project for the rest of the planet, to learn sovereignty and to help you get that experience and to get you completely understand and no more questions about it. And you'll be physically going around because every part of our island represents a different part of the planet. So when you come here, this represent this part and this timeline. And you come here, the people there, they know this, and they all kept, and they will tell you as you go from one part of the tribe to another part of the tribe. And they will tell you that the whole, from the beginning of these origins of this, the DNA agreement right in the beginning, when this world was created, until this now and in the future, it's already here. It's already written down on the land. And so that's why I don't like, I don't want to talk about it because it's just two-dimensional, the three-dimensional communication. I want you to come with all dimension of your senses, the all senses to come and feel it and come and see it and understand it for yourself, and you'll be able to, within you, you'll be able to recreate the new future by, changing the perspective that you're from. Right now, maybe you think that you've known a lot of technology or a lot of things that you can help people with. Please, in the future, you'll change your mind, because there's so much information you still don't know yet. Your body is still not exposed to it yet, and people will be able to actually use the full potential, their full potential, to create things through the complete, by completing these experiences. And so that is how we, the Chief CNFG, will be doing our project. We'll be creating an environment where people will regain and re-understand what sovereignty is, and fulfill their own soul agreements of making the whole planet and every living things on it be sovereign. And so, thank you so much, Ben, and thank you so much, everyone on the live chat, and thank you everyone that is listening in for the past 30 days. everyone that came in, even if you came in just for one show, I'm inviting you to come here because your agreement is here. That's why you're listening to me. And if it resonates with you, or if you listen and it touches your heart, you are part of this agreement. We will do it all together, and it will be, we'll be able to accelerate things. And if you get stuck from the US, we will send money from here. I will send it to you, Kevin, to all of you that has projects, because I need you to come and we need to meet. You need to understand what mana is, because you're being involved, and the only physical way to do it is come and meet, and that's truly how sovereignty can be expressed by truly just talk physically, and it cannot be written in books or in projects or all that. We have to meet, and we'll be coming to all the Asian countries, Indonesia, all the natives there. Will be coming. We are connected. You might not know this yet. And like I said, if you have 5 fingers, if you have the 5 limbs, then you are part of the 5 tribes of the original tribe. And your DNA is an expression of this agreement. It's not to do with a book or with within a physical agreement outside. So this is what Ra means to us. That's what Ra is, sovereignty of every living thing on the planet. And thank you so much. I know I think I've said a lot of things that people will be able to hear in the future, and they will be able to understand how powerful it is. Because I don't think anyone else will be able to see this. And as a role, then you always ask me what your role is, and I said it cannot be spoken, because the expression continues through time, and people will completely understand it through time, as we talk, as we meet physically, and as it grows on, and the role will change, and my role will be complete. And it's not just my role; it's the role of everyone on the planet to remember who they truly are and the sovereignty within them. And so it may be suppressed by the illusions of governments and illusion of laws, illusions of all these, all these created delusions that, but in the future, the power within us will be able to break all these governments. We will break it down. It's already written there. If you read the Bible, it's already there. That's the story of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. He saw the dream, and this dream, a statue, a head of gold, a silver, the body with 2 hands. You have brass on the thighs, and then you have the iron on the cuff, and then you have the soil and the iron that cannot mix together. And these are all illusions that has been inside the human being for these past 26,000 years. But it just begins from Babylon in the Bible. But it was even before Babylon. People all living in the illusion of money and business and all this. And as soon as the love within us, the mana within us, grows and understands, it will break. And there's a rock that falls from heaven, and it smash right down to the feet where there cannot be no unity. And then it broke down all these illusions. Beginning from that time, that is still the religious, the illusions, the doctrines, and all these doctrines of all this, the law, and all this will break down. And when the spiritual energy that is within you, that comes from God, breaks them down. So that's the meaning of that, the dream that Nebuchadnezzar took thousands of years for that dream to be understood. And now, as soon as people remember who they are, and the power of mana that is within them, they will break all this illusion, and they will, it's in the dream. Those different metals, they broke down into small pieces, and they got withered away. And this great rock that fall from heaven, it really rises up, and it becomes the kingdom of God, and it rises for eternity. And that's the spiritual energy within us. Once we fully realize the sovereignty within every expression of this creation or this creative force. And so it's not a new thing. We are just doing the role that we are supposed to be playing, and it's just happening the way it's supposed to be happening. And people have to rest, relax. All these things will happen, and we as being part of it, we are thankful that we are here alive, and I'm talking to you guys, to everyone in the chat room, and I'm thankful that we are not just the words, or it's not written anymore. We are the living word. That's what our life is, and that's what our role is. And our ancestors have been waiting for it for a very long time, and we are just here just to fulfill that those words that they've said, and this is how it's going to really happen. So yeah, I want to encourage everyone that even though we might think that this might get stuck and all this, but we must enjoy this moment because it's just the calm before this big change, and that's how it happens. There's a lot of pain when a child is born, and when the child is born, all this pain will be forgotten. It means nothing. It's part of the blessings of love, and the blessings that a child will bring. So yeah, that's why I want to thank you. Sorry, Dan. Go
I just say, since this is being born, I'm going to suggest for everyone to push.
ahead.
Push.
Yes.
Agreed.
Indeed.
Indeed.
We need to be proved already. This is
Yes.
been labor for too long.
Yeah, the pushing is this call. That's pushing, and getting in contact with everyone else, and getting our love expressed with each other. I'm thankful to the tribes. This is what the push is. As soon as we get together, as soon as we will grow and we'll become sovereign together, and that's the push. So yeah, then you're actually trying to say push, but you are the living embodiment of that push.
I'm just adding more emphasis. Push.
Yes. Yeah, so thank you so much. Thank you very much, everyone on the chat room, on the live chat, and everyone watching now and in the future. I think I've said enough from Fiji. We are looking forward to what's happening in our country, because it's gonna cascade to the rest of the world, and everyone in the world will be able to learn. And if you can do it here in Fiji, you can do it wherever you are. So I'm looking forward to working with everyone, and looking forward to meeting everyone, uh, and looking forward to seeing you, Dan. Thank. Invitation is on, and yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Peace and love and blessing from Fiji.
Thank you, Tui.
Thank you.
Man. Well, I feel better just hearing Tui talk, so I appreciate that.
Well, Tui, when you came on, I guess when Scott came on, it actually corrected the delay on our call, because Tui was having a very big delay.
Oh.
Yeah, it was almost like half a minute or something like that. Hard to converse that way. Could be more clown activity.
Yeah, more clown.
Well, it's okay. We're close to 3 hours. We can start wrapping it up.
All right. You have a great night. I will talk to you tomorrow, Dan.
Okay.
And I do expect breakthroughs and good news. Scott, nice to talk to you again.
Yes, thank you.
And Tui, as always. Love from New York, everybody. Have a great night.
Peace.
Thanks, Tank. So everyone, be sure to share, like.
Yes, I did a video broadcast and share the video link live broadcast on my TBC broadcast.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, please do that. Yeah, please broadcast these out and let people know. Share them on Facebook. Share them on any social media you have. Get the video links out so people can know. Thank you.
Yeah, I CC the Randy Wilson's and everybody that's in that.
That's excellent. Yeah, I haven't talked to Randy in a long time. But...
Yeah, he's been busy. Okay.
All right, bye.
All right, bye-bye. Take care.